Welcome, welcome. Hmm. Wish there was a zoom on this. Can I zoom? Oh, I can zoom. Nice. I'm actually going to work on him today. Sorry, I have sniffles. I apologize. But yeah, working on a piece on a page from this graphic novel. Originally it started out as a comic book, but then I realized I didn't want to draw all the scenes on this one. I wanted to tell the story, the narrative um, of Ehud, and I think it's probably more important for me to write the story. So I wanted to write something more than I wanted to draw, but I wanted to have these big pages where they kind of go a couple pages of action, and you kind of see it without any dialogue. I might put dialogue on the page, but for the most part, it would be just the art, and then go into more pages of reading, like a novel, like a normal book. Yeah, because I think if I just did it as a comic, I would be frustrated with the lack. I mean, the amount of work I would require for the experience being just traded off in the way I didn't want it to be. But things may change. Who knows? But I hope you guys are doing well. And drawing, is this in focus? You better be in focus. Hey, John, there's the guy. There he is. Hmm. Sorry, I'm trying to see what all these options do on retouch. What does retouch do? Does it make it nicer? Is that nicer? Man, all these options for. Okay, anyways. Are you on YouTube? I am on YouTube. Am I on YouTube? I don't know if this is YouTube or Instagram. I think it's YouTube. But just working on this piece, a pipe for this gentleman. Yeah, I haven't been on in a while. I do apologize. That is, well, honestly, to tell you the truth, it's because my wife is giving birth today, and I have a few moments to draw, and I've been like going crazy for the last 2 months, losing my mind. Uh, tell you, because this is my first child. Not that I think I'm not scared of having a child. I think it's just the preparation of it all has been a bit much with work and then trying to maintain a YouTube channel at all. Man, it's been one wild time. So, I do apologize if I've been absent. But she's asleep. I got 30 minutes and healthy for my brain. Okay. So, I wanted to actually talk about on this live stream here about these lines that I'm drawing. You might be able to see through the pencil, maybe not, maybe because the retouch is on, but maybe let me zoom in. Can I zoom in? Aha! You can see some of the pencil marks here, and they are lighter than the inking, of course. But a lot of the time, whenever I draw, I have to remember to erase what's underneath really well, and then go in with my finer tip pens or thicker black strokes in order to fix what I don't see right now. Because right now with the pencil marks, it kind of looks really good the way I think it is, but once they're erased, it'll whiten things and show all the blemishes and flaws of the piece. So it's important to kind of keep your the final step of layering and drawing and inking down to the final stage when you erase it all. So once I'm done, I'm going to erase it and then do one more step is what I'm trying to say. Does that make sense? It should make sense. Do prototype of Playtime Co. What is that? What'd you say? Ciao. Come stia. Prototype of Playtime. Prototype of Playtime. Hmm? Well, hello, Enzo. How are you today? It's quite a nice Sunday. A failed prototype? A failed tip? That's possibly a terrible tip, huh? Duolingo, you're ruining me. Teaching me yearning. Oh. Interesting. Alright, so I'm gonna go in here and finish off the beard. The gentleman watching the brawl. Hopefully by the end of this month I'll finish this page. If not, I'll make sure we slow. Italiano. Oh. Ciao. I had some really good Italian food yesterday. A ravioli and lasagna from a really great Italian chef. He has a little spot near my place, and him and his wife are solid Italians. How to say that? I'm not a big fan of spaghetti. I prefer an Alfredo. Fettuccine's not bad. Okay. So I'm going to leave this for the highlights to ink in with a thinner pen, mainly because, like I mentioned before, once I erase it, I'm going to see how much more light this other area is going to be, and then I'll be able to come in and fix it. How to do this is impossible? No. Do what is impossible? There's nothing impossible. Impossible. I should learn Italian. Oh, funny. Alright. Probably should, you know what, I might move my camera over here and work on this side for a second, because this putting my phone stand on the actual thing doesn't allow me to move around it. And then I can zoom in for you. Bada boom, bada bing. Hey! Hey, thank you guys for liking the video. If you are watching, please don't forget to like and subscribe. That'd be cool, you know, that'd be cool of you. You know how cool you would be? You'd be pretty cool. Well, at least in my books you would be. Not that that stands for anything, but, you know, I appreciate you supporting an artist as I support artists as well. Thank you. And if you don't like my art, and if you think it's a terrible channel, please let me know. Say it. Say how awful this is. Some publicity is better than none, right? But I do hope you enjoy my content. Ehud here, he is the main character of this book. He is the young boy who is an orphan. Of course, I love my underdog stories. And he joins the Jericho's. I guess well, he doesn't. Well, I guess he kind of does join the military, protecting Jericho at the time, which is the late Bronze Age, early Iron Age, and this is whenever King of Moab, before the Mesha steel even came out, which would be the great grandfather of this great grandfather, I believe, of Eglon, King Eglon, who is mentioned in the Bible. This is Old Testament stuff. If you don't know what I'm doing, I'm going through the Old Testament and kind of recreating my version of what I think how history is portrayed, these things, in visual form. For example, in the book of Judges, there is no real story of Ehud, and the Judaic traditions don't have much on him. So I'm taking the liberty to create a beautiful narrative that promotes both, you know, the religious perspective, but also like a fantasy a little bit here, because I have to take some liberties of what, how angels and demons and gods and goddesses all play into factor into a huge grand scheme of the late Bronze Age, as well as Ehud here being a left-handed assassin. And that's the whole point of this book, is about being left-handed in a time period where left-handed anything would be kind of looked as more of a, you keep your hands clean, and each hand has a different use, right? But your left hand would be something you wouldn't. I think it'd be kind of shunned upon in this time period. I can't really say that's a fact, but that's from very small studies I've seen of it. Now, if I expand on that, there has been from, I think it's Amy Jill Levine, the scholar of biblical Old Testament studies. She mentioned, I believe it was her, saying that the left hand represents more of like a physical thing with how would I explain it on YouTube? I'm gonna explain it. Anyways, it's a little bit more adult content wise use of the left hand, and this kind of goes in part with the story, because I would have my character be someone shunned from society due to their characteristics. Of course, underdog stories usually do, but then also show how he rises up and takes out King Eglon, who also will have a story in it itself, and it won't be a bad story. Eglon doesn't really come off across as a bad guy in the book of Old Testament, even though they get destroyed by Ehud, or he gets killed by Ehud. Spoiler alert. Even though that happens, the king of Moab, King Eglon, was actually blessed by God, the Yahweh, to dominate over the Israelites because they were messing up. So there's a lot of a cool story there with him. The person he's fighting here is his good friend Goel, and you'll find out what they're doing. And I'm taking a pretty much a simple hero's journey meets Spielberg meets little Game of Thronesy stuff. I'm trying to make it work. Now this will be my first full graphic book or comic or whatever I'm going to end up doing with this. But I think, man, it's very exciting to try. And yeah, it's going to be very fun. Will I succeed? Probably not. Will it be fun? So far, so good. Maybe I could do like a Kickstarter or something. Yeah. Come on, camera. I haven't touched his face yet because I honestly haven't drawn my character out as a character. He's been a concept in my mind of what I wanted. I wanted this kind of kid who had long hair, be probably about 13, 14 years old, maybe 15 actually, and then maybe 14, maybe a little bit younger. And then he has this just kind of Aladdin, this Aladdin theme where he's stealing stuff from the marketplaces, scheming and trying to live because he's an orphan. But then he has this just weird ability because he's left-handed to be resilient to the culture of the time. I don't know if this book is going to be like... I think it's going to be great. I mean, I've been thinking about it for a very long time, for years now, and I forced myself to just start really just go for broke even if it fails, because otherwise I'll never get done, obviously. So I'd rather it kind of suck than it never happen, because then I don't get to learn or grow where I failed at. So that's what we're doing. There's, one of the people in my Discord, Dennis, he is a fantastic artist, and he's got a comic book he's been working on with these dogs and these characters that are really fun, and really check out his stuff. Really cool artwork. But he's been motivating me to do this because he's been pumping out video every single day of his work and really working. And I'm like, that's encouraging. I searched the web for artists to watch because I like to be encouraged by up and coming artists as well as people who've been professionals. Actually, I don't like the professional artists as much as I like beginners, because not beginners, I don't want to say beginners, but people who consider themselves amateur, which if you just pay them, they're no longer amateur, you know what I mean? Most of these artists on YouTube are fantastic, and a little too rough on themselves, honestly, but I guess I am too myself. But you know what? They're super talented, and I like watching them because they're real with their art. They create new stuff. Their stuff is not trying to be over marketed. Big fan. Have you guys ever wanted to make a comic book? Or have you guys done a comic book? That's a better... Have any of you guys watching right now, which is only 3 of you, made a comic book? Yeah, you. Almost finished for today. I gotta go get food. Starving. The question is what to eat. Maybe I'll just do ramen. Japanese ramen is really good. Who can complain? Only one person left. Yay. Well, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. You rock and roll. Wait, which pen am I using? Oh, that's why. Should have been using a smaller pen. Okay, time to go. Oh, jeez.